Allah's name in the beginning, the most beneficent, the most merciful. In this video, we will tell you about a famous poet who refashioned Urdu poetry, Faiz Ahmed Faiz. Although a good 34 years have passed since his death, the memory of Faiz Ahmed Faiz continues to scare authoritarian regimes as it presents them with unsettling nightmares. One of the most loved poets of the subcontinent, Faiz was jailed and banished by Pakistan several times, and military dictator Ziaul Haq had put a ban on public recitation of his poetry. Yet, thousands of people gathered in Lahore to observe his first death anniversary in 1985 and pay tribute to the memory of this romantic revolutionary. Iqbal Bano made history by singing his nazms and ghazals before the massive gathering in a clear defiance of the dictator's ban. One was reminded of this when news came in that Faiz's younger daughter Muniza Hashmi, who was invited to participate in the 15th Asia Media Summit organized by Asia Pacific Institute for Broadcasting Development and hosted by Information and Broadcasting Ministry and Prasar Bharati, was allegedly debarred from attending the conference without reason, and the question kept troubling one's mind: why is Faiz so much loved by the masses and loathed by the rulers? One has to look for an answer at the great poet's life and work, because he was able to unify them in a single integrated whole. Most people know him as a leftist poet of protest and romanticism who refashioned Urdu poetry to bring it closer to its roots and consequently to the masses. Although I am not aware that he ever made a reference to this particular couplet of the 18th century poet Mr. Taqi, Mir Taqi, but his entire "However" is a testimony that he faithfully practiced it. Mir wrote, "शेर मेरे हैं सब ख़ास पसंद, पर मुझे गुफ्तगू आवाम से है." All my couplets are admired by the elite connoisseurs of poetry, but I am addressing the common people. Little surprising that Faiz is perhaps the most read and quoted poet after Mir and Ghalib. Faiz Ahmed Faiz was born on February 13, 1911 in a village in Sialkot district and brought up in a deeply religious family. Faiz had memorized nearly half of the Quran by the time he was 3. At the annual function of the Anjuman-e-Islamia Sialkot, the 3-year-old Faiz was made to stand on a table and recite the Quran from his memory in front of Iqbal, the great Urdu poet who also hailed from Sialkot and received his blessings for performing the tilawat so well. Later in Amritsar, he became friends with communist writer couple Muhammad Zubair and Dr. Rashid Jahan, and began to take part in trade union activities. It was here that Saadat Hassamanto first became his student and then friend. Not many would believe that one of his most famous nazm, मुझसे पहली सी मोहब्बत मेरे महबूब ना मांग. My beloved, do not expect that old love from me was not written during or after our love affair, but after reading Karl Marx's Communist Manifesto. When independence came accompanied by the partition and massacres, plunder and rape took place at an unprecedented scale. Faiz wrote that this hazy dawn had a dagger of dark night thrust in its heart and was not the one he had been waiting for. Soon after this, in 1951, he was arrested as an accused in the Rawalpindi conspiracy case and spent 4 years in incarceration. When General Ayub Khan staged a coup d'etat in 1958, Faiz was arrested again. While spending time in jail, he wrote another of his very famous nazm that has become a favorite of all freedom-loving people across the world. निसार मैं तेरी गलियों पे ए वतन के जहां चली है रस्म के कोई नसर उठा के चले. I dedicate myself to my country where nobody can walk with his head held high. During the emergency years in India, this nazm provided solace to countless young men and women and has become relevant now as it was then. During the two India-Pakistan wars of 1965 and 1971, Faiz consistently refused to write patriotic poems to boost the morale of the Pakistan army and incurred the wrath of the establishment. However, when he visited Dhaka in 1972, he wrote a very poignant ghazal, हम के ठहरे अजनबी इतनी मदारतों के बाद, फिर बनेंगे आशना कितनी मुलाकातों के बाद. Even after such a long association, we remain strangers. How many meetings would it take for us to become friends again? Faiz taught Arabic in Beirut and wrote poems in support of the Palestinian cause. He was active in the progressive writers movement in Pakistan and the world at large. Faiz was detested by all the oppressive regimes in Pakistan, and after initial proximity, he drifted apart from Zulfikar Ali Bhutto too. Yet he never gave up his revolutionary optimism. His daughter Muniza Hashmi, while leaving India, very evocatively recalled two very famous lines of her father's. दिल ना उम्मीद तो नहीं, नाकाम ही तो है, लंबी है गम की शाम, मगर शाम ही तो है. My heart may be full of failures, but it not without hope. True that the evening is very long, but after all, it's only an evening. Faiz was an avowed Marxist, and he received the Lenin Peace Prize by the Soviet Union in 1992. His work remains influential in Pakistan literature and arts. Faiz's literary work was posthumously publicly honored when the Pakistan government conferred upon him the nation's highest civil award, Nishan-e-Imtiyaz, an HRC Peace Prize in 1990, Avicenna Prize in 2006, and Faiz received Nigar Awards in 1953. The notable works of Faiz Ahmed Faiz are Naqsh-e-Faryadi, Daste Sabah, Zindanama. He wrote his poetry in different languages like Urdu, English, Russian, Punjabi, Persian, and Arabic. He died on the 20th November 1984 at the age of 73 years old. Faiz Ahmed Faiz, buried in Lahore, the capital of Punjab, province of Pakistan, May Almighty Allah bless his soul in heaven.